matches, including that hat-trick against Odisha. And here, Kavon Frater, starting berth ahead of his fellow Deshaun Brown tonight. Well, we know all about Brown because we've seen it 2 or 3 times now. Frater we've seen in just a 2-minute burst. So here we go, everybody. Strap yourselves in, as we say, enjoy. Bengaluru need to win to guarantee place in the table. So there's something on every game. Doesn't matter, you can always find a reason to say you've got to go out and win this one because. Dimas right at the back to start with. Sarawat Kima. Dimas. He was one of those we felt might have been given a rest, bearing in mind his yellow cards. But he's obviously confident enough to say, no, let me go out there, I'll play my own game.
Well, he's got the experience and you expect that. And a couple of other surprises. I mean, Gursimrat Singh played in the game against Mazia. They just got back, I think it was yesterday morning from the Maldives. Not a long flight, but they just got back and they've got a game on Wednesday where you expect him to feature as well.
Here is Augustin. You'd expect him to be full of zest and his first opportunity in the first team, and in the first minute that's exactly what he's showing us. Bengaluru with a record 10 clean sheets under Carlos Quadrat this season. ATK the only side that Bengaluru have not scored against. And Bengaluru, by the way, here's a great statistic for you. They've not conceded in 300 minutes at home now. That first minute that they've got through.
Well, they don't call it the fortress for no reason. It is a tough place, and that man on screen earlier, John Johnson, knows all about it. Yeah. His former teammates, Senboy Haukip and John Johnson, would have clashed against each other a fair few times in training.
Yeah, Johnson's had a terrific career with Bengaluru before he moved to ATK. An Englishman who began life with Middlesbrough, had to spell it Tranmere Rovers. And then Northampton Town, but he's had the bulk of his career here in India. So a Dimas Delgado free kick straight up into the air, and there should be a routine clearance over there for Salam Ranjan Singh. Johnson hooks it away. This will be a throw-in for the home side. They've made the sprightliest start here. Strange not to see Partilu in the starting lineup, isn't it? He seems to figure just about every match, but we all know why.
Yeah, I think it's a tough workload, and Carlos has to manage that. Eric played in that energy-sapping game in the Maldives and will probably have a crucial role again on Wednesday in trying to overturn that 2-1 defeat. And with him also on 3 yellow cards, I think there's just too much to risk and too little to gain by playing him today.
Johnson there, the Rock. He really was a huge favourite in his time with Bengaluru and featured in all their major triumphs. Winning the I-League, winning Super League last year, of course. Featuring in that AFC final. This is just the sort of start we expected, I think, really. Bengaluru, the younger ones, keen to show that they're worth a place. Proving what they've been doing in the reserve side, and a nice flick header, and it's against the outside of the uprights from Haukip.
Well, no surprises there. A Bengaluru set piece. No Rahul BK, but they got Parag Shrivas. Another one from the same state. What is it about Maharashtrians and long throw-ins?
Well, it's a chance, isn't it? I mean, he's about 3 yards out, is Senboy. And he's been among the goals in the AFC Cup. He got 4 in the last, well, he got 5 in the tie overall, 1 away from home and 4 at home.
Yep, at this very venue, 4 against Paro FC. I was at that game, and you couldn't blink. If you blinked, you'd miss it. There were 10 goals in the game.
Yeah, 9-1 against FC Paro. Got a 2-1 defeat in the Maldives this week. Just arrived, as you said, in the early hours of yesterday morning. So it's been a quick turnaround. Not much time for training, is there? When you step off the plane in the early hours of the morning and you've got a game the next day. So a bright start here from the home side.
And that's the price you pay, John, for successful teams. If you are successful, you play.
Yeah,
it's got you offside.
A Robert Williams, I think, given offside. He is indeed. Mr. Pillai on the far side. He is off. And this is the thing for Williams, though. He's got to prove his sharpness, and he'll be looking to get as many goal-scoring opportunities as possible. This is a real chance, isn't it, when you look at it from that angle, to hit it across the keeper. Easy from here, as I always say.
It's just a good one to see. A lot of the youngsters involved, Parag Shrivas with the long throw-in, Sairaj Kima coming off the goalkeeper. As you know, there's no offsides on a throw-in, so you could start from that position and get the flick on. And you'd expect, if you had just gambled on that, maybe there would have been a goal ahead. But at least it's a bright start from Bengaluru.
It's been a very bright start. But ATK yet to get into the game. But this, that was a little bit too close to Williams for the liking of the home fans, I would suspect, that he couldn't control it. But that combination of Krishna and Williams was so successful up until Christmas. And since then, of course, Krishna's had to carry it all by himself in a way. Semboy. There'll be a free kick here against Semboy Haukip.
You can just see a little over-exuberance of the youth. Similarly on this one, Parag Shrivas, just a little calm head. Maybe could have just headed it away or headed it back to his goalkeeper, but put it back in the danger area. And that's bound to happen with the young players. A little bit of nerves and a little bit sort of too eager to prove that they belong at this stage and make these nervy mistakes.
I mentioned earlier that they've yet to get a goal in this stadium from their two previous trips here. Lost 1-0 on both occasions. But they did win by a goal to nil earlier this season, the only time they've beaten Bengaluru.
Yeah, and that was a match where I think it's safe to say that ATK completely dominated Bengaluru, and we've become accustomed to seeing ATK give up possession. And those two players who, you know, you'd want them in your team any day, especially, unfortunately, both of them are carrying a little niggle, Sunil with his hamstring and Eugene with his knee.
Sunil had a suspension as well, of course, for his altercation with the referee after the game recently.
So Eugene would have loved to play against his former team.
Victor Mongil. Yes, although Sunil hasn't had the best of fortune against ATK. He's just scored once against them. He's scored against everybody, of course, but only once against this opposition. This is the first meaningful opportunity around the 18-yard area that ATK have created. Crowd like that. And they don't like that, though, the fact that he's then lost the ball. And onside given here, and it is Krishna. And he did fire the shot in. I think he must have looked up there and seen that there wasn't a great deal around in a red and white striped shirt, and thought, I'll thump this one in and just test the young keeper out.
Yeah, fair play. It's a good little work by Parag Shrivas. Overran the ball here and just catches Pranay Halder's arm, flailing arm, just catches in the neck. I don't think there's any malice. He was just going for the ball, but yeah, you're right. Nothing much on. Fancied his chances. I think if he'd gone low and hard, he probably would have caused a lot more trouble. This is what you'd say is a comfortable height for a goalkeeper. And I think he's done well to push that away from the danger area.
Yeah, nice to see two young goalkeepers here. Prabhukan Singhil was the number 2 to Dheeraj Singh at the Under-17 World Cup. So it's great that here they are, 3 years on, and both competing in a first team game.
Yeah, it's interesting actually. I was talking about this with somebody this morning and saying these were the number 1 and number 2 in the Under-17 team, but it's the number 4, you could say, who's had the most minutes in Mohammad Nawaz.
Yeah, sometimes happens. Dheeraj, of course, played a lot of games for Kerala Blasters last year, kept quite a few clean sheets, but they picked him up on a 5-year contract. ATK.
It's also just a good thing for young players to sometimes, you know, use this as an example. You see, sometimes you get that disappointment of like somebody like a Nawaz, you weren't picked for that final squad and you missed out, but it then motivates players to say, listen, I've got to go and prove myself now and start and work harder.
Huge race for the defender to win, and it's steered out by Salam. Another international, of course. Coming up to 10 minutes played as the ball is slung over to this right-hand touchline to Gus Imrat. He'll get a second touch and a second opportunity here. Will the home side, Gus Imrat's waiting, and here he is now. Preempted that. He eventually did pick up the ball again from Leon Augustin. Well, you need some experience in there as well, don't you? But it's good. Michael Regin, of course. We've got two sets of brothers playing here tonight. The Gill brothers on the one side, and the two Michaels, Susi Raj and Regin.
Yeah, Michael Regin's played some of his football in Bengaluru. He played in the Bengaluru Super Division for a team called Rail Wheel Factory. And almost knocked Bengaluru out of the Puttaya Memorial once with a tremendous performance. So we almost signed him the next day.
Yeah, a club I've never seen. Krishna can't control it this time. Dimas will pick it up. Adds a bit of zip to the move. With the ball fired out here right into the path of Leon Augustin. And I think he's caught in two minds there. Rather nondescript at the end of that, unfortunately.
There's the brother.
Yes, Susi Raj.
He's a tremendous player, playing centre midfield. He's got great range of distribution, Michael Regin, and I think it's a fantastic opportunity for him to showcase that ability.
Yeah, Susi Raj, of course, had a good year with Jamshedpur. Scored 4 times for them last season, including in that 5-1 win against Bengaluru.
Yeah, that was a similar game with a lot of changes where Carlos Kudrat chose to give a lot of the youngsters a chance, and it backfired. So this will, so far, it looks like it's not going to be that much of a disparity.
Now I heard you conjecturing before the game, along with Russell, that maybe this is one game, and there aren't many, where the result is not as important as usual to the two coaches. It's all about performance, it's all about having a look at certain individuals. Don't want to get thrashed, obviously. Don't want to get beaten, obviously. This is ATK's movement down the left, and Williams was given quite a bit of space there, really, between Saran and the other defender, Sarawak Kimat. I was going for the ball, he says. First lecture from the referee from Singapore.
That's a bit of a Cabra challenge on Cabra.
The boot was just a fraction high, I think you might have said there, from Regin. Saran, then Dimas, the two Spanish players in the starting lineup here. For Bengaluru, moving forward now, the team in blue with the red stripe down the side of the shirt, and straight out of play. Krishna there, he's been one of the outstanding catches of the season here in Hero Indian Super League. 14 goals, as you can see, plenty of assists as well there. And one of the contenders, obviously, for the Golden Boot at the end of the season, as we have a look at the way Williams had his legs whipped from under him there by Kima.
Golden Boot and Golden Ball, probably, for Krishna. I think that's been the level of his contribution.
Summit. Krishna taking it down. He's so hard to knock off the ball, isn't he, Krishna? Swings a crossover as well, which might pose a problem for the keeper. Well, it did, but that one is miles in the air from Pritam. But really, I shouldn't have posed as big a problem. He shouldn't have really posed any problem whatsoever, the Krishna cross.
No, I mean, you'd be happy to get Krishna onto his left foot, and the keeper's aware of it. He should be aware of his surroundings, and that's a nothing sort of a punch. I mean, and this is, I think we've heard all of us commentators this season talk about this, that the quality of the goalkeeping in terms of dealing with crosses, and you know, I'm starting to question what the goalkeeping coaches are teaching them now, because you've got to be taught to catch those balls. There's no pace on it. It's coming down, you know, almost coming down with snow upon it. And just catch it.
Funnily enough, last night, Mumbai and Chennai, the two goalkeepers did really well. When they did punch, they punched very effectively, and they caught well. It was a rare occasion recently, it has to be said.
But which shows that they obviously have the capability of doing it, because we've seen Arindam do it in the past, we've seen Gurpreet do it in the past. We know they're capable of catching the ball, but they've opted to punch this season, which is something that must be coming from, you know, their goalkeeping coaches, which is a bit bemusing.
Yeah, bemused is the word. Gusimrat, back to Kima. And Saran for Dimas. Always has the ability to look up for Dimas Delgado. Finds Agustin. Kima again. And Mongil. Crossman supporting Johnson tonight. He made a hash of a terrific chance in the last game as well. And Chennai were really excellent against ATK last time out.
Absolutely, it was just a clinical display from Chennai, which is why I think a lot of teams would probably be wanting to avoid Chennai. So maybe these two would say, we'll fancy playing each other in the semis rather than face Chennai at the moment.
Mongil again doing the job. He can play centre midfield or centre back. Seems to have slotted in alongside Johnson for the time being. Pritam Kotal over there. Seasoned international, of course. Played in World Cup qualifiers, and the free kick will go Bengaluru's way. And that is a coach in fury. Absolute fury.
Well, we talked about players being on a couple of yellow cards. I don't see why Carlos needs to go. You know, it's a foul. It's a rash challenge from Salam Ranjan, and he's got a yellow card. You know, the last challenge was by Pranay Halder on Parag, so it's not as if it's the same player and it should be off. It is a rash challenge. You've got the free kick, and I presume the referee's given him a yellow card.
It's another indication of how much pressure coaches seem to be under these days, aren't they? They do react far more fiercely to decisions from referees than they ever used to do.
That's true. If you put heart rate monitors on us coaches as well as the players, you'd see some disturbing numbers coming up, especially towards crucial moments in the game.
Yeah. I remember the first time they did that. Anyway, let's concentrate on this free kick from Dimas. Albert Serran is taking up a station at the near post. Might look for a flick on or a flick in. Is this a breakthrough moment for Bengaluru? He could even go for the net. He finds the net as well. What a start here for Bengaluru, and Dimas Delgado has his first successful strike of this season. He's got a couple of goals in the last couple of seasons. Sunil Chetri himself would have been proud of that one. He stands and leads the applause here for goal 259 of this prolific season. What a free kick, what a strike, goalkeeper disappointed.
I think that expression on Eric Patlou says it all. He's as shocked as anybody. Sunil's almost got the expression of, I taught him that, but this is why. If anyone is wondering why has Carlos picked Dimas Delgado and Riste, it's for this ability. From set pieces, we know the ball he can deliver. And we look at this, what more can you ask? He's put it on target, and unfortunately I think Dheeraj has made a little bit of a hash of it. At first glance I thought it was a great free kick, but
well, Gurpreet can't believe it either. But I think Dheeraj will be disappointed. I did say that. That's as far as I'll go on it. It's a good strike, venomous. Take nothing away from Dimas Delgado. Gets his first goal of this campaign. Captaincy obviously suits him.
No, while all that was happening, ATK come up the other end and got themselves a corner kick. We saw how quickly they equalised against Chennai the other night.
Yeah, he was aiming for Johnson. Yeah, sometimes, mind you, get a breakout and you can suffer the consequences. Yeah, we got a Roy Krishna goal, didn't we, the other evening? 13.5 seconds officially after the previous, from the kick-off. After Chennai had scored their second goal. Well, it's ignited the occasion, that goal from the 37-year-old Spaniard, who scored a few in the colours of Western Sydney Wanderers in Australia, but he's not exactly prolific.
No, he popped up with a few goals last season, I remember, and I think this season his set-piece contribution has been invaluable. And we've spoken about it. I think we coined the phrase that the certainties this season, when it's a Bengaluru game, then scoring from set pieces. And once again, they had the threat from the long throw in and their first opportunity to swing a ball in the box, and they've done it.
Yeah, so Bengaluru failed to score against ATK earlier in the season, have done now.
I was just saying this, he's had 5 assists from set pieces, Dimas Delgado, and now he's got one of his own. Although he'll probably have to credit Dheeraj with an assist.
Useful ball in this one, and it might still be useful for Krishna. Allows it to go out. Decision as to whether it was going to be a corner or not. Here it is once again. Hammers it in hard and finds the net. And from that angle again, well, the keeper flinging himself across there. But joy abounds.
I think this is where sometimes some of these younger goalkeepers struggle a bit. They've missed out all season. You're playing second fiddle to Arindam, and in the reserve matches where in the second division that's going on, I think Lara Sharma is playing for ATK in a lot of those matches and doing rather well. So they miss out on the game time. It's one of those positions where it really is important that you get game time.
Bengaluru 1, ATK 0. So I'm sure we'll be showing you a league table shortly, but it would mean, of course, a win for Bengaluru would move them up to 1 point behind ATK in the final league table. Of course, both of them adrift have got on 39 points. Commanding lead. Here's Krishna. We all know what he's capable of. Can't find the shot. He does find the right pass, and then he'll be back across in the middle as well, trying to get underneath the ball as it comes in. I think he's going to go out for the corner kick. It is. Krishna inspirational in the move. But they did manage to nip it in the bud. Gursimrat. Pritham Kotal talking a good game as we're almost halfway through this opening half. It's been pretty lively.
Pritham Kotal finding himself in slightly unfamiliar territory this season, because we know he's played as a right back, but this season probably Das has been the one bombing down that line, putting in the crosses.
I'm always a bit baffled when your centre forward takes the corner kicks, but anyway, Williams has done that, and it's off the line and prodded wide. That's the only word I can use to describe the effort from Jai Sharani. Prodded. But it did cause mayhem on the goal line.
Well, maybe that's the answer of why Williams has taken the set piece, is this kind of delivery. Awkward clearance from Cabra, which just fell to Jai Sharani, and once again Jai Sharani, we've seen him this season, just caught and surprised when the ball lands at his feet.
Well, here we go with that table. Goal 39, ATK 33 as it stands right now, so they would be 1 clear of Bengaluru. Chennai also qualified. Another disappointment for Mumbai City last evening, and for Odisha as well, who were mathematically still in the hunt until that scoreline last night for Chennai.
I think Bengaluru would have been, some of Bengaluru fans would have been secretly happy that Mumbai are not in the playoffs, because that's probably, if you ask them one team which they'd like to avoid in the playoffs, Mumbai would have been one of them.
Well, amazing, isn't it? These sides could be playing one another here again on the 1st of March if it stays this way. I never think that's a good thing, actually, in a way. You know, you've just locked horns once, and then a few days later you have to do so again. Although there is a bit of time between now and March the 1st.
Yeah, Bengaluru have a small match of a game against Mazia in midweek.
Yes, they do. Williams. Very sharp tackle back from Leon Augustin, but I think he's conceded a free kick here. Gursimrat.
It's a bit too sharp a tackle, I feel.
Well, it was Leon who put the first challenge.
I think the first one was okay. I think it's this one where he's kicked at him, and well, just to make sure.
Only 1 from 2, isn't it?
He's tried to disrobe him there.
Halfway through the opening half, a chance for ATK. Williams on the set piece again here. He's got a big fella in Johnson to aim at these days, and that was one of those horrible ones that the keeper wasn't sure. His defender, Gursimrat, has come across him and taken care of it ultimately, but just for a moment you weren't sure if they were going to leave it to one another.
Well, at least Gursimrat atoning for giving away the free kick. He's done well to get this clearance, but they need to be switched on him, because this is where John Johnson can be a real threat.
Maybe Williams can prove again why he's taking the corners. Keen on the set piece is the Australian, and may get a shot through this time, but drags it, pulls it, screws it, whatever you want to call it. He hooked the shot with his right boot. He can do better than that, and he knows that. but I did say earlier, eager to get shots in on goal. There's a goal scorer like David Williams, who got almost double figures last year. Well, he got into double figures last year for Wellington Phoenix. Wants to go on the score sheet again.
Yeah, I think it's also just that eagerness, because he's missed a lot of matches, and you can almost sense that, John. Trying too hard sometimes, taking shots which probably wouldn't have taken at the start of the season, would have tried to slip somebody else in, wanting to almost prove that he should be in the starting lineup come the semi-finals. And I think that's the advantage that Habas has in this squad. He has got such strength and depth that every player, when they come on and they're given an opportunity, I mean, with the exception of probably like a Roy Krishna and a few others maybe, that you're not guaranteed your position, so you have to fight week in, week out in training and every opportunity that you get to make sure that you're in the starting 11.
Good use of the body there by Cabra. Strong player, isn't he? He was a regular starter under Steve Coppell. And, you know what you're going to get from him, Harmanjot Cabra. Slower build-up this time from the side that has the lead. And as you said, it is a fortress for Bengaluru. On the move forward again. Back to Kima. Lofted ball in. Keeper momentarily unsure, and then he did the right thing, left it, and it drifted away harmlessly.
Those two enjoying a nice rest today, but I'm sure Edu Garcia would like to come on at some point. Players always like to play against their former opposition. They'll have a little bit of a point to prove, although I think he left on a happy note with a big money move to China.
Yeah, Greentown, was it?
There's definitely a lot of green involved.
Certainly was. Short from the back from Regin. There he is again, Michael Regin. Oh, now then, that's interesting.
Looks like Semboy, is it?
Semboy has just gone down in the centre circle here, and there was nobody really near him, I didn't think. We'll see what's happened on a replay here. If he's feeling the right knee, he's certainly going to need some assistance from the physiotherapist, I think, here. A disappointed look on the face of Semboy Haukip.
That's not good news for Bengaluru, especially with the AFC Cup match on Wednesday, where I'm sure Semboy would have featured in some point, so maybe a little tweak. Maybe Freighter will be asked to play a lone striker, and just looking at the bench and the options they have.
Well, they've got Deshaun Brown, haven't they?
But they can't bring him in for...
They can't bring him in for... We're having another look at the goal there, by the way.
Here's a look at the keeper. Just, you know, you talk about having strong wrists, and that certainly wasn't, and he's actually dived past the sort of first post and not got enough on that ball. But look at the bench. I think the sensible thing would be to bring on probably either the young lad Suresh.
Yeah, because they've got 3 foreign players on the bench tonight.
And the other player is a goalkeeper. So maybe Suresh could come in, and then you push Leon Augustine to play alongside Freighter. That's something that wouldn't sort of disrupt too much. It'll actually strengthen them in field with the way Suresh has been playing this season. Or the veteran and the experienced Reno Anta could come in and probably play as a right wing back.
Yeah, not seen much of Reno, have we, lately? Anyway, it looks as though he's walking off at the moment. Semboy. Odisha against Kerala Blast as well. You would say nothing to play for in that one in particular. Odisha, of course, in 6th place. Kerala Blast is just below them in 7th. And they can't catch Odisha, but I'm still looking forward to it. It's a game of football, and another chance like the one we had the other evening up at North East for 2 teams to show us what they really can do.
Yeah, what I'm really looking forward to in that game is I think both those teams have played a lot of under-23 players, and if you're keen eye on the young players coming through India, those are the 2 teams you would really be keeping an eye on. And it's good to see, while all that was happening, that Semboy's come back on, so nothing...
May have looked to be moving freely, didn't he, as well? So a very strange one. Another Williams corner. We've had 3 or 4 of these in the last few minutes. First time away by Juanan. That'll come back from Williams, will it? And he'll have another corner kick. Well, they're winning on that count. Freighter doesn't mind giving those away.
Well, he's not too happy about giving that one away. Probably should have closed Williams down quicker. He feels that because balls come out to Williams and he's had a second bite of the cherry.
So Williams is thinking of going short with this one. All about variety on set pieces, but now he eventually does decide to toss it into the mix here, and there is a Johnson header. Oof, and he could have easily handled that ball. He didn't do. Downstep, Leon, as he has on his shirt. It would have been very easy to handle that. It was just an awkward height as it came after the Johnson header. Here they come again, though. And that's gone over the goalkeepers. He can take that. No intention on the back pass there. Half an hour played. Bengaluru leading by that 1-0. The excellent free kick from Dimas Delgado. And I'm not going to stress it too often that the goalkeeper will be disappointed about it, dear Raj. And, well, this is definitely not good news, is it?
No, I think he's tried to see if he could just run it off, and he can't. And maybe it was just a case of the club trying to sort of just say, listen, just give us a few minutes, let's get a couple of players warmed up. So it might be a double substitution here, so maybe...
Yeah, I think so. It looked like nearly it didn't. He was a Spaniard, so that means that one of the foreigners has to come off. Well, look, they've got 4 on to start with, haven't they, I think? Juanan, Serran, Dimas and Freitas.
So he could have just brought... We were wrong, we got our count wrong. But he could have just brought Deshaun Brown, but with an eye on Wednesday, I think... There's a Spanish contingent.
I thought you were going to say Armada for a minute. Johnson wrestling, and then a combination there of Johnson and Michael Regin has done, I'm afraid, for him. By the look of it.
There's the 3 who probably I would expect to be featuring on Wednesday. That's why they're getting a well-earned rest today. And I hope to see Udantak regain some form, and Ashik as well, against the likes of Amazia, where you can expect them to, try and sort of sit back and hit BFC on the counter-attack. But this man was very impressive. Speaking about Mazia, he scored the only goal for Bengaluru in the Maldives. And I think he's been a bright spark since they've signed him. I'm looking forward to seeing how he fits in today, whether he'll just play a little bit deeper off of Freitas, or will Carlos make a complete change to the system?
Yeah, Nili Perdomo is the new player coming on. His first game was very impressive. He got about 25 minutes to half an hour. He hit the post twice from memory, and might well have opened his account, and he has since then scored in 2 AFC matches. It was a penalty the other night, wasn't it?
And in that 9-1 game, if I'm not mistaken, I think he got 4 assists. So, very influential player already, and just hit the ground running straight away for Bengaluru.
Yeah, looks a good player. Time for Regis to look up, to find Mongil. Well, Mongil's got it through here. Krishna all too ready to accept a pullback, and well defended against this time by Serran. Serran, who's occupied defensive positions in Wales at Swansea, in Cyprus at Famagusta, and in the Middle East. You see Carlos Quadrat down there urging his team on to greater efforts.
He's been a bit quiet, Freitas. I haven't seen much of him. I think similar to Deshaun Brown, I think these kind of strikers thrive on having space in behind. Speaking of strikers who thrive on space, Semboy, unfortunately, looks to be an early end to his night. Hopefully it's nothing too serious.
Now fixes coming thick and fast, aren't they, for Bengaluru, in view of that. AFC second game coming up on Wednesday. You don't expect teams from the Maldives, with all due respect, to be that strong, but obviously they were good enough to win the home leg. This is a long one. Can he, Krishna, take it down? He holds it up superbly, doesn't he? Just can't thread it between the 2 defenders, however, to continue the move, and that is now going to peter out with a free kick against Pone Halder.
I think one of those, just going back to the point you made about the team from the Maldives, Mazia, when we played against them, just have a look at this other great touch by Roy Krishna. We've seen this all season, where it's just that threat on a long ball over the top. He's got great control, and his timing of his runs, and even experienced defenders just can't keep up with him this season. I think he's been one of the real good finds of the season. Here's a familiar battle, Pranay versus Cabra. But just going back to that point about, we'll come back to that point about Mazia in a second.
Yeah, because here goes the new boy, and an equaliser as well. Well, he's laid it on for Frater, and Frater says thanks very much for that. The Jamaican has arrived in India. Kevon Frater accepts the goal from the pass from the new young boy, Leon Augustin, the 20-year-old, has got an assist.
We're talking about Roy Krishna getting in behind defences and using his pace. And moments later at the other end, I talked about Leon Augustin on that right channel. I said before the game that's where he'll thrive on that kind of space, because he can get in behind, utilise his pace, and that's exactly what he's done. A great run to get in behind. He's left Mongill for dead. And this is the presence of mind, the young kid, just to cut the ball back. That's a fantastic first-time strike from Frater. And this is the kind of balls he'll thrive on as any striker. That's what you want. Ball just nice, just sat up perfectly for you to hit. And what a way to open your account.
Yeah, the two Jamaicans have both scored goals here in India, and that's what it means to the Spanish coach.
And what a celebration from Frater. It looked like a lofted drive that Brian Lara would be proud of.
Yeah, made in India, but Jamaican gold for Kevon Frater, who did score 14 times in his 30 appearances for New Mexico United, his last club. He got a hat-trick once against Portland Timbers, a famous American side as well, so he has known the way to his net throughout his career. One cap he has for his country.
I always feel this is a sort of under-scouted market, the USL. Obviously, it's just a league below the MLS, and there's some very, very good players playing in there. And I think I've said it before, we've seen some good Trinidadians playing here.
Oh, now they are two down, but here is Williams. He's surrounded by blue shirts. Goes around in a circle. Josh Rani slips it to his right, and then it's driven hard in there. But Pranay Halder can't get the cross away. Habas stands with his arms by his side, and his side is still trailing by 2-0 here. It's a rare thing for Bengaluru to concede goals, let alone two. So, Kolkata are really up against it here now. They've got to find two just to get a point. Swinging ball in here for Williams. Krishna on the hunt. Williams, but the whistle's gone. It's not going to count. It was never going to count, was it, that one?
Well, they have a mountain to climb. Habas not happy, obviously, saying that was a big man like him being fouled by a small man. But I think it was for the challenge on Roy Krishna here on Saran, who's almost just blocked him out of the way. But I mean, we're saying it got a mountain to climb to come back from 2 goals, but with the likes of Krishna and Williams, I wouldn't count this ATK side. I don't know, they haven't come back from 2 goals down to win a game this season, but we have so much time left in this game. There's almost 60 or we've almost got an hour still, so there's definitely going to be a lot more goals in this.
Well, the only times Bengaluru have conceded a couple of goals, well, 3 they conceded at home to Mumbai, of course. They lost 2-1 at Kerala Blasters, and they lost 2-0 in Mumbai. So it can happen.
Might be some nervous-looking Bengaluru players in the stands over there thinking, how am I going to get back into this team now?
They have getting these breaks. I know it's an unfortunate slip by Williams. Don't think it's too greasy down there. Just a stumble from the Australian.
Looks like Dimas is just improving his pass percentage there. Just got 4 passes in quickly.
ATK have conceded quite a few goals this season. 2 at Kerala, 2 at home to Mumbai, 2 in Hyderabad, as we look at the distances run so far this evening, and Cabra top of the tree ahead of Jayesh. 2 of the older players here, and Dimas figuring as well, and Pranay Halder. Perhaps ATK's worst result was the 3-1 loss at home to Chennai. But normally you don't expect them to be conceding goals as they have done so far tonight. We said it was a difficult game to predict as we have a look again at the clash here with the Dimas and Regis.
That's got full of crunching challenges. I mean, Pranay Halder first taking Dimas's feet out, and as he's going down, Regis just clattered into him.
The crowd always get very excited here, don't they? Very animated, and 5 minutes before the break they're particularly happy about this scoreline. They were probably fearing the worst when they read this morning there were going to be so many changes in the Bengaluru lineup. You know, Kolkata talked about 7 new faces.
I mean, you expect teams to make these changes, and you know, Habas himself has made 6 changes, so you won't know what to prepare yourself against. And I'm sure you probably didn't expect Bengaluru to be coming out in a 3-5-2 once again.
Fraser's eyes must have lit up when that ball was pulled back to him by Leon. It's wonderful to get your first goal in another country, and that's exactly what he's been able to do, Kevon Frater. And he had a clear hit, didn't he, at the target.
I think this has really opened it up now, the way, because Bengaluru are 2 goals up now, the way ATK are pushing numbers forward. And look, if you just look at in the corner of your screen, you can probably see on our right hand side the line that they're playing.
Well, the crowd are roaring because the linesman's fallen over. They always love something like that. It was a dog last night they enjoyed, but they enjoyed the sight of the referee's assistant slipping up here. Watch him on the far side of your picture. Just as the flag, whoopsie daisy. And
definitely something on that side. We've seen Williams go over, and now the assistant referee.
Yeah. He got the decision right, that's all that matters. 3.5 minutes remaining in this interesting opening half in Bengaluru.
As I was saying, I just think ATK are now gambling and playing a very high line, and with the likes of Salam Ranjan, John Johnson and Mongil, not exactly the quickest of defenders, and that's a risky game to be playing against the likes of Kevon Frater, Leon Augustine, and even Neely Perdomo is no slouch in those regards.
Well, Bengaluru, by the way, have won 4 consecutive games at home for the first time coming into this match. So they're extending that record here in the Hero Indian Super League 6. I said they last conceded at home 299 minutes ago before kick-off tonight, so we're into the 340 territory now. Quite a good clearance from Prabhaksan. Dimas, who got the party rolling with that free kick. It's been a good watch, and that's not the best of challenges. He's been involved in a lot, hasn't he? And Cabra awarded a free kick, hands on head again. But Michael Regin has certainly put himself about in his debut season here, the 25-year-old.
Yeah, he's probably just one challenge away from probably picking up a yellow card now, if the referee is keeping a tally of how many he's had.
Yeah, well, we've seen this man there, number 14 on the left, beat this man in goal once from a free kick so far this evening. Pull your socks up. Get yourself set. Gersimrat's coming over to offer a bit of advice as well. I think he's going to take over the duties. Saran looking to get his head on things. And it is the chip in this time, and nearly got through as far as Juanan. Still the opportunity here. Juanan and Saran are both still across in the centre. Both have got a goal this season. Crowd enjoying that and enjoying this, and Cabra, and it's taken out to put out for the corner kick, as it had to be, by Salam.
Some great football from Neely Perdomo there, some quick feet, nice little 1-2 with Harmanjot Karban here, the usual decoy runners from Bengaluru, and just fortunate about John Johnson and Preetham Kotal almost clattering each other. Here you go, the quick little feet, nice little 1-2.
He's impacted, isn't he? Nearly.
You don't get on the books of some of the top clubs in Spain without that kind of ability.
No, and they've still got plenty up here in the penalty area, driven across and high, and they've got plenty of height. The keeper maintains his concentration though, as the Juanan header dropped at his finger ends. And we're inside the last minute of the opening half. There must be a couple of minutes to add on though, because of the injury to Semboy, who's had to go off. Inside from Jaisharani, who's also got 1 goal this season. Won't find Krishna with that one. Halder back, Johnson forward, and ATK forward. But, well, Senor Abbas, I think we'll have a few choice words perhaps in the dressing room. It's sometimes hard to know what to say to players who are certainly trying their hardest, but they've been beaten by 2 sucker punches, one with a free kick and one with a break. 3 minutes of added time, that's what we're having. And here it is again, and this will do the young man a world of good. Lays on the cross and smacked into the net for a full debut goal for Kevon Freitas. He thinks he's Gary Sobers or Brian Lara, maybe. Left-hander, you see. Oh, Chris Gale, that'd be the latest, wouldn't it? That'll show my age there, you see. Well, they've all been great left-handed batsmen for the West Indies.
Well, Chris Gale's hit a few of those, not too far away from that stadium. He's hit some that probably could reach the stadium from the Chinnaswamy. Just down the road from the Kantira.
Yep, love watching him bat. 2-0 to Bengaluru, whose home record this season. Very impressive. They've won here 6 times, drawn once, and just the 1 defeat at the hands of Mumbai City.
Yeah, talking about the RCB, the little banner in the from the stands. It said, RCB, you need to learn from BFC. Well, we've seen Virat Kohli spending some time with Sunil Chhetri, so maybe he's picked up a few tips on how to put a winning team together.
Yep.
We'll have to wait and see in a few months.
Of course, Bengaluru last season were the only team not to lose a single home fixture, so just 1 defeat here in 2 seasons. That's fantastic, isn't it?
There's the man. Not a bad cricketer himself, actually. Sunil.
Probably good at every sport. He's just one of those people, isn't he?
Sadly, you're right. He's just so annoying, because you play him at badminton, he beats you. You play him at table tennis, he beats you. I think I'll have to play him at chess the next time.
Into the last minute of the time added on here in the Sri Kantirav Stadium. A long ball up here. It's going to be too long, and an opportunity for Prabhsukhan Singh Gill to come and collect it. He's had a reasonably quiet night so far, the 19-year-old. Given the rare opportunity, of course, in goal, but Gurpreet there just in case he gets injured. Not a bad deputy to have.
No, we saw him in the AFC Cup match against Paro.
But I'm sure young Gill would love to keep a clean sheet here, on given his opportunity tonight.
And from the latest reports, he's on his way a little further south. He's signed for Kerala Blasters for next season.
It's going to be a lot of movement, isn't there, between clubs? That's going to be too far. That's the sort of one where you can pull a hamstring, stretching there. But fortunately, Sumit Ratti didn't do that. Abbas has got plenty to say. He needs to save his words for the dressing room, I would suggest, which is where the 2 teams are about to be headed. So it's way beyond his reach. It is half-time here. Dimas Delgado with a well-struck free kick gave Bengaluru the lead, and then Kevon Freitas with his first goal in India has given Bengaluru this very healthy scoreline. They lead ATK by 2-0 at half-time.